A very warm welcome back to the PGL Major here in Kraków of Poland. It is day number 1 of an 8-day series and 7 match days of Counter-Strike Global Offensive. If you're not tuning in before and you're tuning in for the first time, it's a $1 million tournament, the best 16 teams in the world. 8 of the legendary teams from the previous major, joined by 8 of the qualifiers. Today is the opening match of Swiss round, where all the legendary teams face a challenger team. And that's no different than our next matchup, but boy, are we licking our lips at the prospect of this next match, because it's 2 fantastic teams going head-to-head who have got some form between each other as well. NaVi versus G2. We've also changed our panel up a little bit. Welcome back to Janko and to Sponge. We've got a good one, boys.
Who's the challenger here, Paul?
Well, that's
Great
the point,
question.
isn't it? It's like we know what they are on paper, but actually this could be either way around. In fact, they could both be legends.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the matchup of the day. I think everyone would agree coming into the first day, and makes it even more so exciting the fact that these 2 teams met in Cologne just the previous week in the quarterfinals. 2 very close maps as well. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see if any of the strategies were actually being saved for this particular matchup, which I don't think was the case. But yeah, it's great to see NaVi back on track to an extent, right? Great to see Guardian playing well,
Absolutely,
at least.
yeah. We'll start with NaVi and talk about them in a minute. Well, that's a great place to start, actually, with Janko bringing up the point that Guardian did have a good tournament, was hitting his shots, did feel like he was back in the zone again. That's so important for this team.
That's the best tournament he's had in a very long time, right? And I think the thing is, when this team added Simple, they had, you know, they kicked out Zeus, they went on this approach, they had StarX as the in-game leader, now they swapped to Andy. There's been like such a long time since we've seen them getting back to where they need to be. And the question mark has been, why don't all these pieces of the puzzle work together? You have Simple, Flamey, and Guardian, who should be the stars, should be the driving force of this team, and we never seem to get them rocking up all together. And that's always been a question of mine, because I was supportive of this roster, and especially when Andy took over as coach. They looked super assertive on their CT sides. It looked like they knew what they were doing. I was like, yeah, these boys are back. But it hasn't really been the case up until last week, and we saw them beat G2, like Janko said, and give us all a little bit of hope, I suppose. And the man on your screen right now just got married, and I would normally think if I just got married, my CS performance would probably be going downhill.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, maybe
Like
he's
everything
just more,
else in life.
Yeah.
maybe he's just more settled. Maybe he's got that, because there is that run up to it, isn't it? He's spent months of it worrying about it and organising it and spending money and what have you. Now it's all done. He's married. He's obviously settled. He's got a lovely wife. All his home's nice and settled down now. Maybe it's giving him some more freedom. I know he's got also a different, not role, but a different style, Janko, in the team as well. They've given him a bit more freedom again.
Yeah, I think, again, this word confidence, but a lot of it, especially with the Oppers, has to do with confidence. You could even hear it for Guardian himself. He was saying, I don't have the same playstyle as I did when I was at my peak, and that's one of the reasons why I've kind of been in this slump. I'm not as aggressive as I used to be, and I know that I need to go back to that style in order to go back to my old level. And that's what we see from Guardian more and more recently, is him being aggressive again, going for those close quarter combat duels and so forth, which really is what made him one of the best, if not the best operator in the world for a short period of time.
One of the few teenagers we've got here is the man on your screen right now. Simple is, of course, already has made his mark on majors of the past with that legendary few shots on Cash, of course, but it's not really about the shots anymore, Sponge. It's about he's got to turn up for his team if they want to do well at this major.
Yeah, he's the, I guess, the 2IC, right? He should be the superstar of this roster in theory, but the fact that he has to play more of a regimented style CS to work in a team, we don't see the Simple when he was in Flipside just telling Blade where the door was and going out and getting 30 frags. Really had to curb my language there for a second. No, that's the first time in a while.
Hey, nearly did what we're calling a fiflaren now.
Yeah, but you know, I think that Simple, he obviously has the potential, right? We all know that he can be that star. It's just, I think, the maps that NaVi play aren't ones that lend to his strengths, in my opinion. I think, like, when I think of Simple and doing some crazy stuff, it's on Nuke, you know, playing around smokes, being really aggressive, getting multi-frags, and that's not something that NaVi, they don't really lend towards maps like that. But he's definitely a star player. It's just, what NaVi are we going to see today? That's the big question mark.
Yeah, well, I'll see as we go into this best of one. Let's move on to their opponents. It's G2. Janko, when we first saw this roster, we were very excited by it. It looked like the French super team had finally come home to roost. took a little while to get going, though, as all of those rosters did when they changed, but they found their groove in the last couple of months.
They have. I mean, winning a couple of tournaments, DreamHack Tour on home soil, also winning Pro League finals. That's the big one, right?
Yep.
With a lot of competition there, despite not having Astralis in phase. But yeah, with G2, I think the name of the game is consistency, right? Whether they can find that consistency. I think it goes without saying that if they're playing at their peak, they may even have the highest ceiling out of the top teams right now. The question is, how do they and can they find that consistency? You have Kenny S playing amazingly well, even in the tournaments where they underperformed. But Shox has been a little bit of a question mark lately, right? He hasn't had necessarily bad games, but he isn't playing to the superstar level that we know he can. Now, is that because he's focusing more on the team and more because of his in-game leader role, or is he just having a bad period? You know, that's still up in the air. But yeah, G2 obviously a very, very dangerous team, and we heard it from them that it's more so a matter of mentality rather than anything else that kind of prevents them at times from reaching their peak.
Yeah, definitely a high ceiling, and obviously going head-to-head with NaVi again. What does that do to them? Does it change anything? Do we feel like there might be a slightly different approach to the map vetoes? Obviously a different system here too.
Yeah, we're obviously going to the middle of the map pool right now, whereas in the last best of 3 they played, teams could pick maps they were strong on. NaVi, obviously, they got Overpass. G2 thought they were strong on Nuke, but we're surprised. But, you know, in the best of 3 it was a little bit different. Now I think we're probably going to be ending up on like an Inferno or Cobblestone, something around that kind of mark, which means I would actually, in a best of 1, strangely enough, favour G2. I think that NaVi surprised them on Nuke in the past, and I think Overpass, even though it was an overtime game, lends more to the strengths of a NaVi than it does to a G2.
Is that because of the veto system as well as the fact that it's best of 1? Is it because
it's just a matchup, right? It's just the two teams, in my opinion, on the maps that they're going head to head on. Those maps specifically, right, is where I would lean towards a NaVi, right? But anything can happen.
I think anything but Inferno would be a mistake in the veto from any of these teams. I think that Cologne game was very, very strange because on Overpass, G2 was up 11-2, goes into overtime, they lose in overtime. On Nuke, they were up 13-10 as CT. So again, you allow NaVi to win 6 consecutive rounds on the T side. That's not something that's going to happen very often to G2, especially not against a team like NaVi, who is not super structured, you know, and isn't super elaborate on their T side of Nuke. A lot of it still comes down to finding an early kill on Yard in some of the duels and getting an advantage. If that doesn't happen, they can still struggle to close out rounds.
There's a weird thing, that game, Body, you know, he kind of stepped in and filled the role that Shox and Apex, they weren't fragging so well lately, right? He kind of came in and he's been the superstar for this team for a short period of time right now with Kenny. He's been the one who I've gone, I'm noticing him. He's doing a lot of stuff. I'm curious if NaVi countered him in their matchup previously because he had a horrible 2 maps on Nuke and Overpass. So maybe they looked at his tendencies and put a stop to him being able to have an impact on the game. They were still very close matches, right? But compared to the other games I've seen, he was the worst rated player on his team for that whole game. I think he went -21 over 2 maps in that series. So that'd be maybe a question for after if NaVi win.
If they win.
Yeah.
Because there is still a big if. As you can see, the players just getting ready to join the lobby, and we can move into that map vetoes fairly shortly.
There's the coach, the manager.
They seem to be having quite a bit of
the
fun
analyst.
back
And
there
the
as well.
analyst.
Yeah.
They brought the whole gang.
I wonder if they can all stand. No, they can't, can they? Surely not.
I don't think so.
No, just be the coach.
Yeah, they can't all stay, no.
That'd be fun.
Only one person allowed.
It's not like in the
Can you
old
imagine if
days.
they had like 5 people behind them? There's a guy with a bucket and a sponge wiping their brows.
We could be going somewhere with this. I could do that. How
So
much do you reckon that
a
job
whole
pays?
support team behind them.
I just want someone with like, you know, a
Oranges?
palm leaf.
Oh,
like
okay.
just-
Just to cool you down.
Yeah, just cooling me down,
Maybe you could
basically.
get that in
And
the
someone feeding me grapes. That
Maybe you
would
could
be
get that in the
Why
show
are you
match.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something you talk to your manager about in your
Yeah,
show
yeah,
match.
yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
who your manager is yet? Have they done lineups or something?
I'm playing with Moses, so my
yeah?
manager
Oh,
is
God.
Daddy Scoots.
Right. Oh,
And
you're okay then.
And if you know anything about that, it's that he can get anything done for his team.
Yeah. I've seen him behind players. You're in for a treat.
I just hope that I will have the presence of mind so that the bat, the do not peek bat, will not be used on me.
Yeah. That would be bad. Let's just put it that way.
But you have to give
Smudge
props to
has no idea
Scoots.
what we're talking about right now, do you?
No, I'm
Yeah,
with
you're
you.
aware- are you aware of that? Okay,
Educating the younger generations of
Yes.
North American Counter-Strike players with,
With
that
violence.
bat.
Yes, with violence.
Because
Absolutely.
it always works.
Well, I don't know if it always works. I mean, Cloud9 just won the last game. I didn't see any violence in there.
Yet. It could be coming out still.
Could be coming.
There's always a chance
Probably
of
from
violence.
Jason as well.
Yeah, well, he was happy with that one, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of someone who's looking happy, Flamey.
Is he?
No, not really. I just
Yeah,
thought
nice.
that was a really good.
Smile.
That was a good segue.
Yeah.
Segue away from where we were going with that.
Yeah, not quite. Dangerous ground. Thanks for rescue.
Yeah. No, this guy would be the third star, wouldn't you say? He's the rock of the team. That's the kind of role he has on the CT sides. He's just a bit of a turret. Holds down those
Is he a
bomb
star
sites.
or a rock?
A rock star.
That's nice.
Or the third rock from the sun?
That's
Who
a
knows?
good
Yeah.
I think Flamey, I always like to compare him to Bialy. I feel they're similar type of a player, as Chad already said, a turret. You know, nothing too flashy from him, but when he's having a good game in his roles, in his positions, he can be obviously very, very important for the team. You know, it's him and C's alternating in that B bomb site on train, for example. We all know, like, Flamey is one of the best players I've ever seen from that one position. There's always on every map there's one position, and for him on train it's the left side of the bomb train, just holding that angle towards lower ramp, and it seems like when the players come out he just mows them down.
Yeah, that should be renamed. I think we have to put that. That has to be called Flamey, that position.
This looks like the veto is going to happen.
Yeah, look, it's the whole crew on the NaVi
maybe
side
they're
as well.
just maybe they're just picking out Guardian's new apartment.
They're picking out the skins he's going to use this game, right? You know, it's something that I think that, you know, we've seen G2, they've slowly been going with the economy where they lose the pistol and then they take a full eco on the second and they go for that third round buy with the Galils and stuff. I would actually prefer, when you're playing a team like NaVi, just go for their normal second round force buy and try and punish them and don't let them get the economy going at all, because I find with a team like NaVi they need the double AWP, so they really rely on that kind of stuff.
Important PSA. If you're watching right now and you're capable of taking a screen grab of more than 5 seconds, please grab that previous frame of Kenny yawning and gift that for me, please.
Oh.
That was absolutely epic.
It's always someone on G2
Let's move into the
okay, so
ban,
now they
shall we?
vetoed Inferno,
Inferno's gone.
which means they left in Nuke.
Yep, they did.
Not this
They're
again.
not going to do that.
So it's Nuke and Overpass.
Yeah.
What?
It's either of the two maps they've already
They're
played
I
in the previous event.
I would have expected G2 to veto Overpass here, because I was expecting Overpass and Inferno to remain the two maps, but here I don't see them not going for Nuke. Even though they would have to start on the T side because they get to pick the map, NaVi gets to pick the side, but still, like, I think they're just a very strong team on Nuke. I think the manner in which they lost that game to NaVi, losing 6 consecutive rounds on the CT side, I don't think something like that would happen again. To G2, I just think they're a more complete team on the map.
This is a curveball, though. You can see how they're discussing right now what to pick, because it's thrown them off. This isn't where we expected the video to go.
I don't think this is where they expected it to either, is it?
So,
but NaVi with that 3 ban in a row, they've had the opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
That's what's given them the chance. So this is the first time we've seen a team being creative using the 2-3 ban system.
So we had NaVi as well starting on the CT side when they played in Cologne as well. So in this regard, it would be them starting in the CT side again if G2 pick
it.
If G2 pick it. So.
I don't see
if they want to, they don't have to.
Like, I don't see how
they get choice.
How could G2 ever pick Overpass over Nuke? Like, why would you do that?
Well, no, I mean, because they had a good first half. Do you remember? Oh, they're going to flip a coin for
they're
it.
Actually
going to flip a coin
for it.
They're flipping a coin because they can't make up their mind right now. This is unprecedented scenes at the Major. A team has decided to flip a coin and go with the result to give them the map, and NaVi have absolutely no idea what the hell is going on the other side of that wall.
I have some choice words for them if they lose this game. Why?
The thing is, you don't flip a coin.
They're going with Overpass on the basis of a coin flip.
You don't flip a coin, Paul, to decide the thing. You flip it because once it's up in the air, you know what you want. You know, where do you want the coin to flip. So I'm hoping that was the case and not actually like flipping the coin. But that's one way to go about a map veto, I guess.
Yeah, it's new. I mean, I didn't realise that we were going to have the randomizer this time, but we are.
Hold up, why don't they just let us pick the maps if they're going to do stuff like that?
Think about it, guys.
You have a coach, a manager, and an analyst there, and you flip a coin.
Yeah.
Why are you paying all those people so much money?
When you could have just employed the randomizer we had at Eleague.
Well, Valve are going to be happy, aren't they?
This is just
mad, isn't it? They're going to have a smug look on their face when we go backstage.
This is just mad. It's like, and also, what is this thought process? Like, you have one of your best maps left in, if not your best map, alongside Cobblestone, and you're like, no, they must have prepared like super for us, and so we're going to go to a map that's actually not very good for us, but it's one of the maps they can play, one of the 3 maps they can play.
But they were
Train
good,
Overpass Mirage.
But they were good on the first half, innit?
Yeah, on the
A week
CT
ago.
side, because it's like the CT side, and they're French, they're aggressive, and they push, and Kenya's gets the kills, and it's 11-2. Wow, what happened on the T side?
I think it's time to go to someone a little more sane right now, because Yanko's kind of lost his stuff right now. A coin flip, would you believe, for the map choice of a big game between G2 and NaVi. It's only the major after all. Boys, it's all yours.
Paul, very interesting stuff there. It was hilarious as well, Kenny's reaction. He definitely didn't want that map, that result, but that's what he got. So we'll see. I mean, that was quite hilarious.
Don't really know how like what to say about that. It's so funny because as well, like, there's always like so much complaining about like the randomizer, right? Just like having that last map randomized. It's always, and that's just
yeah. It's like, where did the randomizer go?
Flip a coin.
Wait, hold my drink, hold my beer.
I honestly don't know how you just in good conscience explain that. But I suppose if they were really just, maybe they really felt like it was a 50-50. Maybe, I mean, there is always a possibility that they know more than we do, James. Of course. So perhaps they just felt equally about both maps and were.
Nathan's got a tree on his arm. Haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going for a second sleeve, perhaps. I don't know.
Sleeves.
We'll have to ask him. Sleeve boys. Well, they are NBK and Co having their final decision. Discussion, not decision, final discussion. Their decision was made by the coin. They didn't even make it themselves. It was taken away. The power of the coin.
It's
NaVi.
cool. Like, I mean, as you mentioned previously, like we don't get to really cast them as much as we used to. As you know, NaVi obviously have been suffering for quite some time trying to just find their feet. And we did see the return of Guardian very recently, which was quite refreshing. I mean, there was such a long time in which it's like, you know, who's the best AWP in the world? Well, it was clearly Guardian for so long because he had not only the mechanical skill and the consistency, but he had that really awesome, like very high level decision making, that very smart decision making, and that was really what differentiated him, you know, way back when before he fell off. And of course, he was you know, one of those people that also fell victim to an injury and then came back and was never quite the same. I think it was it came out that in one of the finals that he played for the major, I think that he actually had to change his sensitivity because it's too painful for him to at that point play on his original sense.
Yeah, never nice to have sporting injuries. And Guardian is on the server actually, just AWPing away at the AFK people. It's nice to see sees this still baby face. You have to wonder if he will go as long as Pharrell, as far as baby faces are concerned, because Pharrell's got to be like late 40s now or something. Look at that baby face. Well, it seems that G2 are ready to get things kicked off here in Poland, in Kraków, in pierogi land. We had some pierogi for lunch today.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah, some of the NaVi boys were there as well in the restaurant. I'm not sure what they had, but the pierogi was good.
Are we seeing you know, we're going to see like the full bid coming back from Edward, because I know you were talking about bids earlier, so you'll probably be infused to discuss this, but I missed the full bid from Edward. It was mighty, and also Ginger.
The lion mane,
yeah,
on top of his head as well. That was pretty awesome. No beard from Simple. By the way, I love the fact that he's wearing a polo instead of the normal like sports type jersey like you can see here, for example. For me, I love the polos. I think the polos are awesome.
It's good to have alternatives.
Yeah, it is. It's nice to have choice. And the polos are smart. You know, you get the golf game on, get the golf attire out, and maybe the golf sponsors will come. Who knows?
And I mean, they have their own jerseys as well. But maybe he flipped a coin today.
No, he normally wears the polo.
Like
he was wearing I've seen him at a few tournaments wearing the polo instead. So he seems to be more comfortable in the polo as opposed to the sports jersey. See, Flamey's got the full hoodie on there. So it's about comfort, man. Obviously, you're not playing at home anymore, right? You're traveling the world. You want everything to be comfort. I know some StarCraft people bring like. What do they bring? Do people bring like pillows and stuff, or they bring tapes and make sure that the table's the right height and the chair? And
I mean, Flash was notorious for bringing a ruler and measuring the exact distances that he was away from the table, how far away his mouse and mouse pad were, and the distance between the mouse pad and the keyboard, and like all that kind of stuff. Like he was he was the first really to go to that level. I think that was really seen. But yeah, I mean, it's a really big deal. Like body temperature as well is also a pretty big deal. You also see that in StarCraft. Like they bring all the hand warmers and so on to make sure that they're at the right temperature, so that everything is loose and ready to go, and they're not feeling, as you say, uncomfortable, and that their performance could suffer from any of those things. So
And these players have been to enough tournaments, right? They know what's good for them.
Indeed they do. So, it is time for the pistol run of Overpass. G2 starting on the T side. NaVi will be defending to kick things off, and Seas has picked himself up a defuse kit and a high explosive grenade. NBK and Body, both with Molotovs on a pistol round. Don't normally see two of those. So we'll see what G2 have in store. For now, NaVi have gone for a 4-man push towards the connector position and left Edward alone towards B.
He's alone, but he is known for his pistol shenanigans. And he's going to have to pull out quite some performance there. Simple, though, finding 2 quick pops as he makes his way through the door. There's more even from Simple. 3 kills, all Simple so far. Eventually shut down by the one Shox, but now it's all on Shox as that bomb is now ticking away. So many opponents, not enough time, not enough bullets. And that will be the round there for the NaVi side. But G2 did secure a bomb plant, so there is that as consolation.
Let's see what G2 choose to do. The eco is not guaranteed. You do see the odd force buy after planting, trying to take teams by surprise and break their money before it even begins. Nothing purchased by G2 just yet, as you can see from this camera overlay. Very much needed to keep the viewers connected to the commentators. Thank you very much, PGL. Not much invested by G2, and you can't fault them for it. Again, we do expect the French to be very fast and very sharp with the edge shots when the time comes. But for now, it's the odd pistol here and there, and a flashbang onto Shox.
So GT not really able to be in a position in a round like this to get much done. They've opted to go for that full save, get themselves the AKs in the 3rd round, as opposed to I mean, some teams actually do like to get a bit crazy, maybe get an AK on a player, go for some kind of weird half buy or even a full buy in a situation like this. But indeed, G2 going for just the Glocks. Single P250 on Shox. He's got a flashbang as well. Really an amazing result here would be a bomb plant. They don't really have much stopping power with these weapons that they're currently holding, so can't really expect too much in the way of frags. And I don't think this is going to go too well. Not a great start here for G2. It is a brief affair, perhaps. Well, Apex finding his way around the side. Almost getting a kill there. A bit scary, but everything will be okay. 5 players left alive for NaVi.
Have to respect how slow he was with that Glock, trying to do as best he could, especially with aim punch. And on a round like that, from certain distances, you may require 3 headshots with the Glock to find a kill. Anyway, enough about Glocks. We have the buy coming out, the AKs coming out. Apex going for a Galil, which will allow him to get full grenades for his team, so he may be key to the execution of this round. Will Apex be? Well, we'll find out if he will be. Shox is normally the lurker towards the B bomb site, and often you'll find G2 going 1 and 4. Mostly 1B, 4A, but sometimes it can spin around, and that can mean trouble for the B players. Speaking of B players, Seas has been flashed into short B, and he's seen that nobody's there for the time being. And he'll hold an angle towards sandbags. Simple moving up long, Guardian rotating towards the B bomb site, it seems. So NaVi trying to stay a step ahead, but they don't have too much information just yet.
Yeah, this could be quite scary. Simple has to be cautious. Staying out there for another one, though, will be the play that will take him down eventually. Apex with the frag is... There's plenty of space for G2 to work with and time also to spare as they make their presence known on the map towards the toilet's position onto that A site. It has been reinforced actually by NaVi. Despite being a man down, they've responded by leaving just Seized alone with the UMP on B and focusing their defensive efforts here towards this A site. And it looks like it's a good call because here comes the G2 army. And the army so far not really having much success. They have been battered and there's nothing that remains.
It's a very good start from NaVi. Only Simple to fall, and he was at the point of no return and chose to stand his ground. So props to him for that. Getting some kills. Simple indeed. He is 7 for 2 in 3 runs, so he is not off to a terrible start by any means. Flamey around Optimus, getting the kill on NBK and delivering more afterwards. I don't know if he knew anything about that kill onto Shox, but not going to care as long as they win the round. 3-0, G2 on the pistols, but indeed that loss bonus will rise pretty quickly at this point. Making their way through the playground are the thugs on the T side. Playground long abandoned by children at this point. It's a nice opening kill from NBK.
Well, what do you say about that one? Bye-bye Seized. He has been erased. Apex looking to do the same, looking to get a long-range shot there. That's going to whiff, but it was a bit scary. Simple feeling the presence now and falling, perhaps, well, I was going to say perhaps falling back, but he's going to retake the same position, picking up a kill. Bit of extra damage done to body. Simple fears not. And he's, oh, wow, reading this play really well. I wonder if the teams will actually hear him taking that damage and understand that he is actually pushing the flank.
He almost made had a meeting with Shox there. He's rotating through T-spawn, but he knows he's on the rotation. He may get taken down in the back, or will he? No. And he knows the last player is rotating through T-spawn. Simple, completely ready for it. Omnipresent is Mr. Simple, adding to his tally 12 for 2. And that's great to see one of the most explosive players in Counter-Strike, never mind NaVi. Look at that ADR, man. Through the roof.
Yeah, great performance there. And I mean, a lot of this is the thing with Simple too. Like you wouldn't necessarily expect a play like this because, you know, what if they are just holding position? You know, what if that is the case? Then he's going to push in, be out of position against pistols with a rifle. That's not a good position to be in. But that's Simple for you. He's going to take risks. He's going to, I guess you said, James, be explosive and make plays you want to count for. That's the danger that he brings. And he is a player that has essentially been the reason teams have gotten to the finals of majors before. A big part at the very least with that skill of his.
With the teammates he has and the coordination they should have by now, he won't have to do the heavy carrying. Guardian missing a shot earlier on. That was a fairly simple shot for him, but we'll see if he can pick things up later on. A minute 10, nobody down just yet. Lacking grenades on the G2 side. Kenny's on the AWP. AWP sans Kevlar, which we haven't mentioned just yet. Will Simple go for the peak? It seems his, oh, what a great flash. I was wondering if that would come in, and it did, but doesn't yield any results. I don't know if he saw, oh, he would have seen 2 plays on his radar. No bomb, however. So what is the read from NaVi? They've left C's alone towards B. Everybody else is stacks A.
Now, once again, the right response here from NaVi. Shoring up that defense this time. Not the same results. Shox opening up onto Guardian now as Apex creeps forwards. There's a very important frag there from Flamey. Has to do more though. It's a great angle there from as they line up. Flamey with 2, and now Edward comes in to try to finish off the remainder. Just Kennyus with 13 health and an AWP. What's he going to do in this situation? A quick frag for him. He's found one. Now he's got just one more player to go. Seized coming in from A-Long. It's going to be a very tough situation from Kenny. How could he possibly predict where Seized will arrive onto the A-bomb site from? Waiting patiently now for Seized to rear his head, but it's only one bullet that needs to be connected now to take down Kenny, as he can't possibly be caught off guard here. He's taking a good position to do that. Oh, so quick! And that's what you love to see from Kenny S with the AWP.
Great performance from Kenny, and it's rare when he's not consistent with high-level plays like that. So quick indeed. Swipes as he gets the scope out, then finishes off the rest of the game as he swipes for the shot, minimizing the distance beforehand to get the first round on the board. We have a timeout from G2, a tactical timeouts. Even though they won the round, you could argue that NaVi will have a better buy because they had more money, so G2 need to figure out how to make the best of what they have. They've managed to eke out 2 AK-47s, but there may be some Galils in tow, maybe even UMPs. Indeed, Apex has gone down to 1,200, buying grenades only, so we'll see how the money is dispersed on the French side. Buying 2 within an inch of their utility, body picking up the Tech 9. So it will be the 2 AKs, the Galil, and the pistol for body. Maybe he can pick up a weapon on the way. We'll see how this one begins. And it begins with Simple being aggressive again, close to Connector on his own. NaVi bolstering the B bomb size at the beginning of the round, just in case there's a fast play from G2.
Ooh. Oh dear. So many times you're going to see Shox connect that shot. So many times we have seen him connect that shot, but not this time. And now G2 will rotate back towards toilets. There's only one player there so far, though, for NaVi. It is Simple, however. He's been having quite the game, as highlighted, on a cool 12 frags in these first 5 rounds now. will it be more in this round?
Yeah, now's the time where you need to rack up the frags rather than post pistol. Moving forward once again. Lots of sound cues for him. Apex is, I think, towards the long area. Hasn't spotted the player coming out of Connector, so that's an instant trade for Shox. However, the bomb hasn't been spotted. It's towards long.
BK's in there. Smoked off, though. Will the pace be slowed down by these smokes here? There is time for G2, but they don't have a player in that position by the sewers, and that would really allow them double back potential. Instead, it's NaVi that have a player looking into that short position, looking in towards the door, so they know that G2 aren't doubling back right now, and not at least through that door position. And there's only 20 seconds. Do they really have time to do this? There's a lot of indecision. G2 going back to wait. They realize they don't have time. Oh, this is a disaster.
Those late smokes, always a problem for the T side. They're trying to make their way through. The flashbangs are good. And NBK's going to get taken down anyway. And there's a plant attempt. Absolutely lost 2 players at Optimus, stopping the bomb from going down. 2 seconds, 1 second. Shox has got nowhere to run, but he's still alive for the time being. Dying after time. Insult to injury. Salt in the wound or vinegar, whatever's your choice. It's painful either way. 5-1 in favor of NaVi now. Very, very strong start from the NaVi side. And I just want to note quickly, you may see us often talk about the bomb being spotted, and just to explain why that's important, because mid-round, late round, if the CTs see the bomb on their radar, then it can give them a better indication of what the Ts are trying to do, where the Ts are trying to go, so they can rotate people there in anticipation of that. So often the Ts will try to hide the bomb for as long as possible, so the CTs have the least time to react and put people in the right positions.
And we'll also just see a quick rush here from G2. They don't really have much to work with in this round. It's a quick force buy with these pistol armors of theirs. Guardian will be forced to fall back, but he will get himself a frag nonetheless. A forward smoke found, but still gaps to be had here for the multitude of NaVi defenders that start to stream back in here on the rotation. Some cursory grenades tossed into the bomb sites. So actually G2 have done a good job here. They've got 3 players alive. The bomb is down. They need to do some damage now, get some kills, but at the very least that bomb is planted. But it's like that's all they will get, just the bomb down. And one quick point actually about that round where time did run out. Usually G2 have Shox sitting in the sewers in a round like that to allow them to double back if they get stopped by late smokes towards A. And that's normally what they do. And I think that's what they were trying to do. Then they suddenly realized, wait, we actually have no idea. And also, like, we don't have time to clear it properly. So then there was the indecision. That's a bad sign this early on.
For those of you in Go TV, we haven't picked players to watch yet. And yes, Simple's got a lot of frags, but they've mostly come very early on. Since then, he's got 2 kills. So I'm going to go with Guardian on the CT side. Who would you pick for T-Dan?
It's a good question. I'd probably take NBK. NBK is just an all-round badass, James. That is why I choose him, and he's now dead as well. So it couldn't be more perfect, could it?
Yeah, this is an eco round from G2. Mission is to plant the bomb as more money is desperately needed. Fundraisers not allowed in Counter-Strike during matches, so we can't donate them any cash. And it seems that they won't get anywhere close to planting that bomb. Shox won't even make it out of the toilets. In the toilets, he will remain.
There's a lot of missed shots there from Guardian, though. One thing to note. I mean, previously the question on Cloud9 was, okay, Skadoodle, Shroud, they had sick tournaments previously that we saw something new from them. Can it be consistent? I think we saw an element of that consistency today. Guardian, though, and that's another question we had with him. We're seeing a resurgence from him. A lot of people saying in that last tournament he's back. That's not a great start from him so far, not to be overly critical just yet, but we'll see how things go now as we are once again in the action.
Body's been a human highlight reel for G2 for a very long time, very consistently. It's round number 9. He has not got a single kill in this tournament just yet.
They make it sound so bad. In this tournament, he's got no kills.
I'm like the NaVi PR man. He has not got a kill in this entire tournament.
Well, this is a fast round from G2. I'm not sure if... Looks like so far it's to their detriment. Simple, once again, just standing pretty confidently in the toilets. Again, we've seen time upon time where he's just not afraid to go for plays here. And this is something that Simple does very well. It may look risky, but he'll pull it off somehow.
And G2, you could argue they're not even playing their game at the moment because Shox is by the toilet. Shox is a B player. He's a B man and he can't take Simple down either. Simple is just having a whale of a time, but G2, they're not out of this yet. Kenny is alive, but he's on his own. And he doesn't have the bomb. It is not far away from him, but it does make life more difficult when you don't know what is around the corner. Around the corner is Edward. Around the corner is round number 8 for NaVi. You see, or you saw the frustration in Kenny S's face. This is not going well for G2. And Simple's just, I mean, I said like he got most of his kills. Now he's on 18 kills. And he's just beasting, man. He's like, I'm here. Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you had a good point, and it goes back to a point I made earlier about that round that went to timeout, basically, where usually G2 have this default. Again, some might say it's fairly predictable, but it's a decent default where you manage to work Shox into sewers, you can stay there in the round, or you can have some additional support for additional pressure. You try to take over the toilets, you have that double back potential, you have more information, you deny information from the CTs as well. But we haven't seen it so much. It's like we're going to see a quick opener from MBK, though. That's brave.
Nice.
But fortune favors the brave, James.
It's brave, but it's
Or
also
bold.
it's desperate as the situation is. Only pistols for G2. They've got 2 kills, though, and they've got time, and they can make life very difficult now. This is a winnable round for G2 in their current situation, but things can fall away very quickly. I did say watch Guardian and GoTV, but this hasn't been a good game for him so far, and he has missed some shots, as we mentioned before. So the people are live. Edward's on 15 kills, so let's keep an eye on, well, keep an eye on him if you're in GoTV. For now, it's Flamey alone on the B bomb site. He will require some help. Grenade is there, he spots the bomb, he can call for his teammates. He needs to buy time now, he needs to stay alive, but he goes down immediately.
Yeah, banking that there would be no player on Monster. Full attention towards that short position not working out. Edward caught on the rotation there, really good forward position there, and again highlighted Guardian. Missed some whiffs, or had some whiffs there in the anti-eco, but this is the round where it counts, and just gonna run in and Apex will take him down, so not too much to say there for NaVi. G2, a much needed round here, but the question really is whether they can find a consistent approach to take rounds, because so far they've looked a little bit lost.
Timeout number 2 coming in from the G2 side. And yeah, that was, once 2 players are lost and it's a 4-on-3, G2 have a reasonable percentage in that situation, and they capitalized on that. So absolutely, there is the man himself, Simple. He is currently sitting on 18 kills with 15 on Edward. So I would say pick between those two. Although it's interesting that Simple's playing on his own around the toilet, so that's quite a challenge in itself. So I'd say watch Simple, see what his decision's making like when he's only got himself to rely on for GoTV. And there's Monsieur Kenny S with all of 3 kills, but he's got an AWP. He has the sniper rifle, and now it's time for G2 to turn up on the server. Round 11, but he still hasn't made it to the scoreboard just yet. Quite a few players are struggling on both teams, actually. Or, well, as far as NaVi concerned, maybe Edward and Caesar just, Simple rather, are just doing the job on their own.
Yeah, it's definitely been a strong performance here, and once again, Simple knocking G2 down a peg early into a round, and it only gets worse from here on out. A 3rd kill from Simple. He is absolutely loving it right now, but eventually Body will stop him in his tracks. But the damage, the toll, it was heavy. 3 players dead just because Simple was just going for these AWP peaks. Beautifully done by him, that confidence. And that's something that NaVi are learning to harness. Is not to overly integrate him into the system around the entire team, but allow him that freedom to make these plays. I love him having that freedom. It's so good. It's so simple.
Indeed, they have given him a lot of space towards the A site, and it's a nice change of pace and a nasty surprise for G2 to see Simple wielding the AWP. And it changes the entire approach to how he's going to be peeking and looking for engagements in that area as well. As before, he's around the smoke, trying to slow them down. He's playing close to them, listening to the footsteps, and now it's long range, and the AWP is out, and there are suddenly 2 shell-shocked G2 players left. But they're on a 2-man split of the B bomb site, but the bomb will be late in appearance. You see, some players try to crouch as Shox is doing so, but there are angles where you are still exposed. Doesn't work out either way, and maybe Body's damage from the Molotov was heard by the CT side. Maybe, just maybe, they know where he is. Sees towards Monster, even if there's a pick onto Flamey. Surely a late trade will come in, but one is not required. NaVi winning almost every duel on a server at the moment.
And again, it's much like you said, you know, a lot of these rounds, we're seeing these challenges towards toilets. Who is the first man to deal with? Who is essentially, you know, that's the guardian of that position? It is simple. That's the first man you got to get through, and it's just always too taxing. The toll is always too heavy to take when you're facing this guy.
He's got 21 kills in 11 rounds.
Yep, it's pretty impressive.
Between him and Edward, it is 36. But in between G2, there are 2 AWPs now. Kenny and Shox changing the approach themselves. We know G2 are not afraid to go for that second AWP. And they've chosen to do so now. This is an all-in play. They've got 2 AWPs and 3 pistols. They really need some opening kills here. But will NaVi give them to the French side?
Such an interesting situation to have those 2 ops, isn't it? And the Deagle follow-ups.
I mean, look at Simple now. Simple's playing in CT spawn. They've completely changed the approach once again. The CT side is being hyper active, and G2 have no idea what's going on.
It's really good too. I think they can definitely logically assume, okay, their money is pretty ruined. If they're going to go for a force buy, we don't want to allow our off to be just rushed down. Let's play it further back. Guardian can have a piece of the action now with the UAWP that he's now carrying.
I think it's hard not to enjoy CT sides when they're rolling like this and they just keep mixing up the game and they're one step ahead of their opponents. Well, we think they're probably going to try and do this, so let's change things up entirely. And now G2 still desperately looking for a pick. 38 seconds, and they have barely seen anything. Apex has got no Kevlar. He can't go through those flames. Guardian getting cheeky, but crunch time will arrive soon.
And here it is. Already one player spotted. They know it's a commitment to the A site. They've fallen all the way back in, deep into the furthest lines of this defense. And G2 will fold. They will be crushed on the offense. As you mentioned, James, NaVi really played that perfectly. Fell all the way back, played it passively. They knew what they were up against. They're one step ahead. This is hard for G2, isn't it? It really seems as though they haven't got an idea how to approach overpass against NaVi right now. And it does seem like they're trying things perhaps out of their comfort zone. And does this go back to the coin flip, James? When they flipped a coin? Because if they're flipping a coin between 2 maps, you would assume that they would have, you know, let's say a convincing game plan.
Yeah, but maybe
for both maps.
Maybe they simply weren't prepared for NaVi to bring this pain to them. And I do wonder, obviously, we don't know if G2 are going to change their strats from one day to the next. Great stuff from Edward. But, I mean, again, we're used to Shox lurking outside, either in short B in this area on your screen, or outside the monster area, or even further back from there. But it seems that they're trying, I mean, maybe they think, okay, we've been red, let's mix things up and play more loose. So, whatever they're trying to do, it's looking like the 12-3 halves of old. It's still 11-2 for the time being, so it could be even worse than that. But
yep,
it's a lovely flurry here from Edward.
Oh yeah, and 43 frags between both Edward and Simple now. It seems just cool to tally them both up like that. It's quite impressive performances from them. Confident stuff. G2 looking to respond, however, to try and salvage this first half in whatever way they can. They are going to be getting Shox into the Suez position. Oh, this boost is absolutely diabolical. Let's see if Simple can get the pick off there. Oh, very close.
That's a great angle. You almost never see that angle being taken. So, again, it seems that NaVi have put in hard work as well. And now we see Shox in his usual position. This is somewhat business as usual. Apex and Body over towards the A site, getting some opening kills while his Body, NBK around the connector area, will get a second one. And now we see the monster push from C. So he'll spot some legs. That's the last thing he will see. The gun barrel from NBK. NaVi, how do you know where the T's are headed with all those frags?
Yeah, it's really confusing, isn't it? Losing a player simultaneously on A and B. It's very hard to respond to. They tried that aggression. And, I mean, you kind of have to. I mean, you just have to do it, and it just didn't work out for them. So that's fantastic for G2, able to get those entry frags. The only issue with it, though, is that, generally speaking, we have seen this approach from them in where they do, where they do try to outpick NaVi, and we can see on the scoreboard exactly what's been happening. Simple and Edward have been shutting that play down. That sort of approach has not found G2 consistency, but they will claim their third round. By nature of that, and really nicely done by NBK. Obviously, as you said, he knew that there was a player that was boosting Simple, so he's kind of looking for that through the wooden panel there. So good job to him. But still 11-3 for NaVi.
Simple back on AWP, back to aggressive ways. And he's not going to go for a peek towards the fountain. He is around the connector position, but Body and Kenny are moving pretty quickly, so it's time for him to back off. And indeed, Guardian and Simple are going for a 2 AWP play around the toilet, so that could be a very nasty surprise for G2. But they continue to move back as the smoke is there. Apex and Body, though, will soon be in view. Oh, that would have been a glorious second kill, but he'll get it on the second attempt. That would have been poetry on the first, though. C's going for the duel towards short B, not working out in his favor. Flamey is there, and he might need some backup.
Yeah, this is going to say, after losing 2 men like that at A, Shox has a perfect response there. You almost just have to go straight into B at that point. They do slow it down, though. They do have the benefit of time. But in doing this, of course, NaVi do get the option to start rotating players, start leveraging the fact that they are a man ahead. And the rotation times are pretty quick between A and B on this map. So Simple providing just a ever-threatening presence with that AWP in the tallest position still. He really has shown no sign of wavering in this position, showing nothing but confidence with his plays from here. Ooh. Shox is getting close, though. Looks like Shox is going to try to sell a play into the A bomb site when his teammates will get onto B.
I don't know if it's working or if Edward and Flamey are just positioning for the retake in the meantime, because they've moved back towards the graffiti area with a crossfire, and now they'll hear the running. They are flashed off. I don't know if NBK saw them. Doesn't seem like he did, so he's going to be in for a nasty double peek in this position. Not sure what Edward's doing, but Flamey is there to trade. 3 versus 1 now as Kenny the Planter tries to clutch it for his team for a desperate 4th round. He sees a torso, but he can't quite get the kill, and Simple is there. Who other than Simple? Who better than Simple? 24 kills in 1 half for him. Outstanding stuff.
The interesting thing about this round as well for me is that, again, losing 2 players instantly towards A and Shox getting that frag, I think Shox can take the risk to just run into the bomb side there. He opted to play it slowly, and he wanted to try to, obviously, position himself at A, try to get some kills, try to delay rotation towards B. But his teammates, it seemed as though, as soon as he died, like they were already rotating to help him. So it looked like that wasn't it looks like to me that they weren't on the same page, because then like, oh, now he's died, we're going to go back towards B now, and because NaVi had 4 players left, they can very easily just spread their players. So it's yeah, quite interesting. To me, G2 have not seemed on the same page so far this overpass.
I just want to say that the double AWP setup around toilets was such a great bait, because if they're expecting 1T to come with a trade fragger, then that trade fragger will think, okay, he's taken a shot, now he can't shoot for X amount of time, so I can peek and take him down, but Guardian is there for the insta second frag. Missed a shot, but that's not really the point. The idea of the setup is really awesome from NaVi. 12-3, and now it's time for G2, who are not afraid to get aggressive, but maybe they have more respect for their opponent. They're playing inside the sights. For Kevlar's Body with the high explosive and the defuse kit. Might be a slow round from NaVi.
Absolutely, and one thing last major as well, NaVi were very good in the early stages before the playoffs. So we're seeing pretty good strength here from them so far. Although they will lose Simple immediately, and he was the man that did get that 4K initially in the last pistol round, or 3K that is.
Apex had a nice boost on the B-bomb site to pick him off over the walls. NaVi may be rethinking their stratego. Maybe expecting a CT push based on that, because we see Flamey going back towards T spawn. So it seems they just want to see if there are any opportunities to be had around the back. And it was Simple. He opened the connector door, but the angle from Apex was unexpected. So indeed, maybe everything has changed for NaVi. I mean, they can't run around forever. There are 40 seconds remaining. Seized is making a play towards the site on his own, maybe trying to show the bomb. Risky stuff, but now he'll back off towards B.
Yeah, I think you're right there with showing the bomb. But it looks like it will all kick off here towards the B bomb site. And NBK is still sitting pretty there towards this water area. His teammate's doing some good damage, and NBK will easily discard Edward. The plant just desperately trying to come in, and it will. The knife is denied, but
Blades were out, man. Backstreet surgery was ready, but it wasn't to be. That was a high-risk play, though. C's just kind of poking and prodding towards the site, because if he gets taken down, then there's no choice but for the T's to rotate and try to barrel into the site with very little time on the clock.
Yeah, I kind of don't like it because it is very just if it goes wrong, it's just so horribly terrible.
It's a big gamble. It's a big gamble.
Yeah.
There was a guy from the UK who sold everything he had, went to Vegas and put it on black, and doubled his money. That's essentially what was happening there. He's putting the house on black. Always bet on black, FYI. 4 smoke grenades for the NaVi side on this pistol round, so they've got strats, man. They are ready. Normally when you see smoke grenades lined up with that radio pole, if you went to the tip, it would land in the middle of the site and just obscure and make it easier to plant the bomb. And there is one landing in that vicinity. Ooh, they could play the short play on short, quite literally, but it's going to fail in dramatic fashion. Shoxy spots the leg. Oh, that tap, just the one tap that.
On bullet, that's all you need. Simple can just sit here for a while if he wants to.
He can do it. He can, well,
do whatever he wants.
He can, but ultimately he will die. He'll be punished, and he'll be cast away from the B bomb site. He'll be launched. He'll be jettisoned into the sun. He'll be put in a trash compactor and recycled for perhaps a bottle or a jacket or something else. I don't know, pair of shoes.
A jacket.
Yeah,
interesting.
I had a Timberland jacket, right, which made me look like a drug dealer because it was a big puffy one, and it was made from recycled bottles. I didn't even know that was possible, but there we go, the wonders of recycling. 12-5 in favour of NaVi, looking strong, but G2 on the buy now.
Well, 12-5 indeed is the score, and we'll see whether or not G2 can continue success, or if success is to be short-lived. And the AKs are definitely scary, a scary prospect when all you have is some FAMASs and MP9 and only 2 M4s. And Guardian will be leading the way. I wonder if anything was spotted, anything was heard, anything was gleaned just yet. They are just going to walk all the way. I love this from NaVi. Will G2 be ready for this quick play into the A site?
Garden stroll gets a bit violent. Apex holding down a long area, but there are no Ts there for the time being. They are all at the front of the site. And there are smokes all over the place. Kenny spotted. I think he got headshot through the wall. Left on 5 HP. Guardian going for the spray, and the hose will prove true. They've got 1 kill. It's a 4-on-4. There's a flank coming in from body. There's a minute on the clock for NaVi. They don't have to commit just yet, as much as the parental pressure might be there.
Yeah, and it's great as well. This is a situation where the mid-round calling is really important and fast responses, everyone getting on board with the same plan. However, G2 are just peeking out, getting these great engagements and just winning them confidently. Rather simple going down to the likes of Apex now provides a 4 versus 1 for Guardian here. Nothing to be done. Another round for G2. And an amazing round to win considering that, again, they're an MP9, they had a couple of FAMASs in there, they can upgrade, they can pick up 2 AKs. So they made a lot of value out of that round.
You do start, it's still early days in this half, but you do start to wonder if both teams are going to have equal success on the CT side and just have dominant performances. Maybe G2 will start to catch up on the kills and rack up those frags and put NaVi on the meat hooks. We will see. This round looks good for meat hooks because NaVi are only bringing pistols into this round. No grenades, not a single flashbang, nothing much to create space, perhaps, or take space.
And definitely, I think this, as you mentioned here, it's the CT side is going to be way easier for GT to play because, like, okay, we have our setups, we know how that works. We can read the economy of our opponents and understand, generally speaking, what to expect and play around that positionally. It's a simpler dynamic, and you can just let the skill do the talking. There's not as much mid-round calling that's as necessary, not as much communication in that sense to change a plan dramatically. So everything should be smoother for sure. And the question really is whether NaVi have their strategies up together on this map. And with the likes of Simple, I mean, it really just takes that one round, doesn't it, when he picks up the AWP. To make things all go wrong for G2, though.
Not a single point of damage done by NaVi so far in this round. Seas has gone to collect the bomb by the balloons. Some trivia, while we have some time. You can actually stand on those balloons. Okay, never mind that, because Flamey has got some openings towards the big bomb site, but NBK is still here around the monster position. He will hear these players moving forward, but the bomb is so far away. So what do? It seems like Seas is going to try and make a play towards A, with NaVi baiting towards B. But Apex is rotating back towards the A site, but NBK's been taken down, so surely they've got to go towards B. It's going to be an open A bomb site. Edwards on the rotation towards A already. They're selling the fake with only pistols. Flamey picked off. How long will it take G2 to realize? It's almost like Very Games versus Complexity at DreamHack.
And Siege will get that bomb planted here. Now, the CTs are generally out of position. They can get some shots off, but you can see that angle is exposed by the truck. Edward knocking Kenny-S down and leaving it up to Apex. The man himself with the AK-47. Doesn't have a kit at the moment, needs to be quick about this one as he looks for his opponents. And this is such a hard position to play off of. Gets the first frag here, but he has to go for the commit, surely. I mean, he's in such an unwinnable spot, but does he have time to do this? It's going to take quite a while to get the defuse in here. It's going to be pretty tight. Apex looks like he has time. Oh my god, it's so difficult in those spots to make it work, but he made it look confidence.
Crisis averted. I suddenly had visions of Complexity versus Very Games when there's a massive fight on the B bomb site. The bomb rotates to A. They realize too long, and then it's too late once they get there. But obviously it's overpass, so the rotation is pretty quick, and that's a great clutch by Apex. Baited the NaVi guys, and it's a tactical timeout for NaVi.
It's got to feel bad to lose that one. When you get that plant, you got two players, a two versus one, and he's got no kit. You can essentially just play for massive delays. So hard for the CT to do anything there. Even if he gets the first kill, again, you kind of have to face into the container to actually defuse it. So it's really easy for the T to actually peek, see if you're defusing or not, and then just not commit to the fight. And you can just keep doing that over and over again. So it really demands the CT to be able to have incredible reaction time and incredible precision, and also, of course, just very cool and calm, collected nature under pressure.
What NaVi can take away from that situation, though, is they did colossal and surprising damage to the C2 economy. They've still got a 5-round lead, so it only creates more potential opportunities for their team, win or lose that round. They have forced G2 to spend a lot of their cash. We saw what that meant with Cloud9 versus North in the previous match, and maybe the same will be true in this one. Edward looking towards the balloon area that we mentioned very briefly earlier on. Flamey keeping angles towards long, and he better do that because there are two Frenchmen in that position. Maybe a flank will be fast, especially with NBK coming into action.
Yeah, it's a great position to play from, but he's in trouble now. There's two players here coming for him. A quick peek there from Guardian will deal with him. It's very important to just quickly and swiftly get rid of NBK in that forward position, but Apex now causing problems from a forward position of his own, peeking out of long, getting the pick off and then falling all the way back. And that's great for G2, claiming the man advantage once again, and now leaving things to a 3 versus 4 for NaVi to play off of. They've got 45 seconds to go. And they just threw the bomb back here towards Simple, so it looks like they're going to go towards A. Can they make it happen though? Apex still lurking.
Two players in the long area, and the point is the bomb seems to be headed there as well. Guardian taken down, and now Simple's got a job to do. The bomb could have been spotted on the radar, definitely has been this time, and there goes the bomb. 20 seconds for Siege, 1 versus 4, miles away from the bomb. The round is surely won by G2, definitely now that Kenny delivers the last kill on the A bomb site. Crisis averted for G2, 4 players surviving, a plus for their money after the losses in the one prior. NaVi can still buy. Guardian is a bit short, but for the most part, they got the guns. And they got the 4-round lead, but what they don't got, Stan, is a single round in this half.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, again, you can see, just imagine if G2 had a better plan on their T side. Obviously, NaVi were really good at resetting them and so on, and reducing their buy rounds, but still, you can see the comfort that they have, and the, when they're able to play the CT side, the skill that they have to bring into play. And they have the experience as well, not to be too deterred or lose any confidence should they have a bad start. It's a game of Counter-Strike after all, and can always make a comeback. And NaVi actually mixing things up here, going towards the sewers, going for a... Perhaps they play into the B bomb site, but first they want to get rid of some of these CT grenades, perhaps.
Yeah, there are a lot of grenades, but once the NaVi boys start to move in, definitely be guns out for G2. And you never know when someone's going to burst around the corner of short. So there's a flashbang from the side. They will only spot one player. So that could be a lurker, but do they hear some footsteps? More countermeasures coming in from the CTs, and it seems there's a rotation. It's a stronghold in the B bomb site at the moment. Kenny seems to be making his way there as well. As Apex has moved towards the toilets, he's got the info for his team to allow 4 players to be there for this defense, but still the push hasn't come in from NaVi. And indeed, they're rotating. They realize that that all the CTs are there. Apex starting to move back, buying time. Doesn't need to get picked off. 29 seconds, 2 pistols, and the AK from Flamey. Spotted those through the smoke is Flamey. He will eventually get the kill, and now C's can pick up one more rifle. 20 seconds, NBK, his turn to hold things down there. Buying time, 2-man spray down, make it 1. I think Kenny got the last kill there onto C's. G2 prevail. So there was potential there for NaVi. It came and went.
Yeah, G2 doing a really good job here so far, just holding the line. And it's very interesting the way it differs, you know, to the dominance of NaVi's first half, where it was really the individual star power, let's say, between Simple and Edward, who were able to just create, just from the get-go, disadvantageous situations for G2 repeatedly. Here is a G2 that are, you know, very evenly able to defend, no matter what NaVi are throwing at them. I think NaVi are throwing a more diverse range of rounds at G2, but G2 look more than confident. And they mix their setups up quite a lot here as well.
Let's bear in mind there were all of 3 rounds won by the T side in the first half. 0 right now for NaVi. G2 catching up very, very quickly. So as dominant as the first half looked, it seems that it may be a mirror in the second. So what do we take from that? Leave you to discuss. 3-2 setup for G2, 3 of which are on the A site. There's that very important smoke around a toilet area. Never know if a CT's behind it, and indeed one is. Kenny with a simply rude peek into C's, walking with his scope. C's may not have known what hit him before, it was all too late. Simple in the same position, and he's carrying the bomb. If he gets punctured as well, they're a big problem for NaVi.
Yeah, they're soon forced into action. They've got these CT players all around them. At the moment, Apex just lurking around toilets, and he can cause so much damage. You can see NaVi a bit paranoid of this with these forward smokes, and Shox is going to join Apex as well now as the push comes into the site. They are going to rely on Kenny to deal with the players from long. Able to take down one. There's more where that came from though, but for Kenny, it is simply too easy. And that is a quick trio there for him. In fact, 4 in total in that round, and he is providing quite the answer to the AWPing that Simple was bringing on the first half. And that now brings G2 up to 10. And NaVi still on 12, and 12 they've been on for quite some time.
Yeah, and C's in 22 rounds has got 4 kills. So he and Body not having very good games at the moment. If one of those 2 players turns up, maybe that's the thing that takes their team over the line. Time will tell. Smiths with the bro fist, enjoying the back seat there. C's lurking towards the B bomb site once again. And then there are 4 players around the upper area towards A. Kenny is lurking. Kenny is ever dangerous. Apex almost shoulder peeking towards long. Spotted some players and he'll move back. Just some information. But how will G2 respond? They're not doing much. Apart from A, they're moving back. They've still got 3 players towards the B bomb site, so they're not too concerned at the moment. Minute 15 on the clock, and now NBK will start to head towards A.
A lot of passive setups here from G2 in recent rounds, and it's been working out quite the treat for them. It's making these small plays around these defensive positions. We can see Apex now actually getting the confidence to go forwards here on A long. On an investigation. This investigation, it's not going to be too successful, except he will find some information for the team, but it's a big bait. It was all a ruse.
Yeeted.
Straight into Kenny S's scope. Doesn't feel too good there for NaVi, and into B, they are forced to go.
Yeah, the pilgrimage of T players into the B bomb site so far, it's successful. But will they reach the heavens? Shox is in the water area, but it's NBK to save his teammate for a brief second. Can they mount some kind of defense there? Indeed they can, but the trade will continue in favor of NaVi. 2 versus 1 now. Apex on the high ground, looking around the smoke, and now the smoke has gone. Simple close. Oh, it's so close! But the bullet will go the way of Apex. 13-10. Finally, NaVi get their first round on the board. But how many can they get? It's been a very hard-fought round for the team. Simple's got 2 kills in this half. Seized hasn't got any. Edward, 2 kills. Guardian 3. Flamey leading the charge with 6 kills for his team on the T half. So again, similar struggles to the G2 team, who are back on the full buy, and they've still got more money in the bank. The CT side. Ooh. That's a bad miss.
Yeah, and never like to see that one. Shouldn't be too consequential though for the NaVi side. kennyS is actually on long at the moment with the AWP, as we can see here, just looking over the sign towards that boulder, which is oh so far away, but of course he is scoped in nice and tight. However, the flash will force him to fall back. That's a great flash there from NaVi. Crossing their T's, dotting their I's, being diligent with the use of their utility. And such is the, I suppose, the frustration with playing this side of the map as the T side. It feels as though you don't even have enough utility to make all your bases safe. Well, kennyS get a flick off hit to take down a player before the NaVi push can come in? That's the question. Another flash that works quite the treat there for NaVi, and they get ever closer to that A-bomb site.
Seized, picked off, Shocks delivering in the face, but the rotation is coming here. It's a full rotation from the CT side, and they've got the delay tactics there, the Molotovs, and NaVi almost getting barbecued, feel like they are forced, they're compelled to move forward. Bodies flying in the air, Apex getting traded, NaVi in the red for the most part. Simple may be down to him. It's a 2 versus 4. 30 seconds to find these kills, but the bomb is in absolute no man's land. It's in Sniper Alley. And it seems that they're going to back off the NaVi side, or what remains of them. They don't have much money in the bank, and it seems that they feel this is not a salvageable situation, or not worth the risk. So they will get the hell out of there, and it will be 11 rounds for G2.
I'm not sure which player it was from NaVi that was in the serious position, but I think with all the information that kennyS got, I think he must have seen like at least 2 or 3 players, saw all the nades flying over. He knew that a big bulk of the team for NaVi was towards that A-long area, and so in them getting the frag towards sewers, they know that the committed play has to come to A, because there's no double back potential. It's too risky. There's not enough time at that point with that player lost for the T side. So it's a very smart full rotation from G2. I mean, they did leave one player in jungle, but the rotation from that position is still very quick. So G2 read that perfectly, and what a CT side they're having.
NaVi with the AWP, the AK, and a bunch of pistols. We saw that desperate round from G2 with 2 AWPs where they tried to get some picks and weren't able to for the longest time. Will NaVi fear, will they be subject to a similar fate? Lots of players around that connects area. Now they're going to leave Guardian alone. Is he going forwards? Is he going backwards? He'll take the bomb with him, and there's some rotation towards the B area. And the B area is where there are 3 players. Both CT sides have put that extra man towards the B bomb site. So we'll see how it pays off for G2 in this round. The smoke is soon to disappear, and NaVi are collecting themselves around that monster position, and now moving into short B as well. So the split potential is there, but then so are 3 Frenchmen, very proficient in le headshots.
Guardian, there you go. Entry frag for him. What can his team build off of this with, though? Because the rotation's coming in quick. Nicely done by Flame. He finds himself an MBK that's quite unawares as to what's happening there from the monster position. Shocks, though, forced out of position by the Flames. And we've got players flying all over the place now as kennyS tries to respond, but he is alone. And he is desperately weak.
Did Guardian wallbang him? Did Guardian just wallbang him?
No idea.
I'm not sure if he did, but I saw Guardian going for some dirty angles through the wall. And kennyS will ultimately be picked off by Seized. So that's another round in the bag for NaVi. These desperate T rounds for both sides. We have a tactical timeout for G2. A third tactical timeout. They have 1 remaining, as the glorious overlay also describes. There's money for the buy for the G2 side, but NaVi are 1 shy of match points.
Yeah, this starts to get really weird. You know, with teams trading rounds like this, it does put G2 in it starts to put them in a bit of a weird position, considering that on the first half, of course, G2 were only able to scrounge 3 rounds together. But from this position, NaVi do look like they could very well be just closing the match out. They need 2 rounds. G2, you know, they've run out of money with this buy, So this round basically has to work. Otherwise, you know, NaVi going to be on 15 rounds. G2 will be left with no economy. So this round has to work. There is no margin for error for G2 at this point.
4 AWPs on Overpass. You don't see that every day. And I'm quite curious on how this is going to work on the T side. We've seen that both CT teams haven't really given up much when the Ts have had 2 AWPs. Obviously, they don't know that, but it seems success is a struggle. 2 plays on long. If Guardian goes for a peek, surely he is going to get picked. It's a great Molotov towards a tree position. Kenny forced, but he will stand his ground. And Guardian, there he goes, taken out. But Simple might be a nasty surprise if he can get into a good position. But for now, he's outside Monster. Nobody peeking for him. I do wonder if he's willing to simply walk through Monster, scoped in with the AWP. Time will tell. I mean, there was a time where Simple on the CT side of Overpass would just run through Monster with perfect timing, time and time and time again. But those days have passed.
I feel like only Kenny S can hit that shot by the boulder. That was just disgusting, to be honest. And it's interesting too, because I wonder if NaVi read how G2 will play a 4 versus 4. I wonder if they've done that level of research into G2's CT rotations. Oh, there's a quick spot there. A lot of silence broken by contact between Seized and Shocks towards short. Seized lucky to be alive there, down to 16 health. As NBK starts to feel the heat quite literally, as we see Molotovs tossed about by NaVi. 20 seconds, it has to be B, and there's the first entry. Flamey onto body, but is that where it stops? Or is that just the beginning here? Because NaVi, they've got 15 seconds, they have to go in. They've got to plant.
They're really dragging the seconds out, and Flamey, oh my god, that was so close, but it seems he may be successful, or perhaps he won't. They have to plant immediately, but they don't have possession of the bomb. What a hero play from NBK. His team can run away now and maybe get a kill after the fact. Simple, he needs to hide because they might peek him, but no, they won't. Tight stuff for both teams, but what a hero play from NBK. He knows what he just did. You saw that sigh of relief from him. 14-12, they're still in the game, and NaVi are not on match point. 4 AWPs continue.
It's actually crazy because it is the double AWPs that really made that so awkward, isn't it? I mean, it's so hard to move them in. You're in a spot where someone has to take initiative. It's just like, well, you don't want the AWPs to just run, and they've got to be scoped up. It just doesn't really work out very well for your team to try to do that. So very awkward, and the lifeline here bought for G2, but for how long will it go on?
Again, the default 3 CTs in B for both teams on their CT sides, respectively. Ooh, Apex just took one in the face. He just took one in the face, man. He's got 14 HP, but it's G2 to get the first kill. Seized will respond, but he's got to be really careful because he has traces on his gun, and silenced weapon does not. It wasn't a silenced weapon. What am I talking about? It sounded like it from the bullets, but because it was from his perspective, so excuse me, both have traces. Both have traces every 3rd bullet. It's the silenced M4 that has no traces. Hello. The sound cue confused me, but it's fine. Everything is fine. 14-12, the double AWPs continue. I think it's really awkward on the T side, double AWPs.
Oh yeah.
In almost every scenario. I mean, we saw the difficulty from Immortals recently as well. And now we see NaVi sees responding with the sniper rifle. Simple on second one. 40 seconds and it's 3 versus 4 now.
Hold it. That tells them everything they need to know. They know 100% it's going to be A now, but there is just enough time here to get the bomb planted. Toss of the bomb over towards Edward. Simple can just hold positions, try to cover everything essentially at this point, but he can't get to position in time. Sort of misread the timings there, and Kenny S was way too far up for Simple to account for. And now Edward with 22 health against 3 players. That is not an easy ask. And he's going to be careful with the sound cues here, and he's going to be running straight to his demise. Good to see the top right there, MBK very elated with that one. G2, they know that every round here is so difficult.
I think he was going for a hero play, a flank.
Oh no, absolutely, but
I thought he was saving it first. I thought he was just running away. It's like, man, just no. But there we go.
The crazy thing is the double AWPs. It is. I'm sure they'll mention this on the analyst deck. If G2 are to actually win this game, we've seen quite a few of these rounds, you know, as mentioned, sort of just become awkward, a bit too awkward and uncomfortable for NaVi just by nature of the double AWPs. You get into a spot where, you know, okay, we've managed to open up the round, but actually now we need to move somewhere. And it's like, this is kind of hard.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of double ops on T side almost ever. NaVi's tactical timeout now. Roughly 3K for most players, but Simple's got $7,600, and they're still they're still around ahead. Their loss bonus isn't spectacular, but they could take a punt with a rifle, and indeed he will do exactly that. AK, he's got himself some reasonable grenades as well, some Tech 9s on some of the other players. P250 for Guardian. He's got 4K in the hole, so all good in the hood. Simple will buy down to 1,700, so we'll see if this play will work out for NaVi, if Simple can get the entrances. He's behind Flamey at the moment, so Flamey is the shield, and Simple is the trade.
Looks like an explosive one is in store from NaVi onto that B bomb site. And indeed, a bunch of Molotovs tossed over the top, soaring through the air, carpeting the bomb site in the flames. It's an inferno here, but it will be the CTs with the hail of bullets here from these M4s rattling off to just annihilate every single player from NaVi. 14-14, G2 have tied it up. They are so close to at the very least securing overtime. And if you consider that first half, it was so desperate. So depressing, I imagine, as well for some of the G2 players that to now put themselves in this position.
The problem is, yeah, it is great, and the problem for NaVi is that yes, they're having similar CT sides in terms of score and things like that, but it's G2 with most of the momentum. Now it's that on the second half, it's them who are on the comeback and now have even the score. So it's NaVi who may be feeling the pressure slightly more than the Frenchman. NaVi with a reasonable number of nades, but not perfect by any means. Not a single Molotov on the T side. So that makes it harder to execute towards B. We saw previous rounds where they would throw Molotovs around the sewer area where you peek short, and you can double peek from that position. Shocks of an opening kill onto Guardian. Don't know how that wasn't a headshot, but he gets the kill either way.
Importantly, he gets the hell out of dodge. He's managed to escape, and look at the run there from Edward all the way up, and this might be the perfect play. Kenny S. Goes to the shoulder peek. Very smart from Kenny S there. Oh, and we had the pop flash, but the bait. Flamey's there to cover. Beautiful stuff there as a counterplay from NaVi, and that will equalize things as far as the men are concerned.
Man, love it when a bait comes together like that. You see a nice abandoned cake, throw your face in there, and it's full of maggots. 14 apiece. And now we have 3 on the A site from G2. They have a read of the situation, and their read is not incorrect. NBK, the timing is unreal, and he may be stuck between a rock and a hard place. Simple, slowly but surely, trying to get a pick there, not quite working out for him. And now it's a big fight, 3 on 3. This is a huge round for both teams. Shocks holding his angle. The grenade missed him completely. He's only got 11 HP, and his teammate will come to the rescue, leaving C's alone. He's got 15 seconds. The entire CT team are here. What remains of them? We've got the initial angle. We've got the trade frags. Perfect for G2. Match point G2.
Things getting very scary now for NaVi. They were doing so well. Everything looks so amazing. I mean, in the first half, we're like, oh, there's been like 13 rounds, and there's 46 frags between, Edward and Simple, and now it's come all the way to this on the CT side due to finding all that comfort. And again, we look towards those double up rounds where NaVi they created good chances, but then they struggled. They had awkward situations to deal with. Double up for G2 though on the CT side has been perfect, picture perfect. A few pistols here for NaVi. This is it. They have to make this one work. G2 are so close now. More round for them, and they've done it. What a boost this would be to them to come back from that very dreadful start.
Seized has possession of short B, and that may give NaVi the confidence to head in that direction. But they don't have... Ooh, this is interesting. G2, maybe with a read. Apex is moving towards long to join Shocks, but NBK is getting a kill through the smoke onto Flamey, so not much they can read from that. But now the rotation is coming back. NaVi trying to force their way into the site, but it's failing at every single point. All the doors are closed. Their tickets are invalid. They won't get a single kill. G2, 16-14. What a massive comeback. A mental test, an arduous task. A match of endurance, but they did it. They took it over the line.
And I mean, it's great because in some respect as well, it's going to lessen some of the criticism of the coin flip situation at this, because that is kind of insane. You know, they go for the coin flip between the two maps, then they're getting absolutely annihilated, and that's something that will very much raise many questions, as it already was on the desk. But as you said, they really showed their temerity here, the level of composure they can have when their backs are against the wall, and when they hit that CT side, man, you know, they've done it so many times before. You can really find a groove and in a level of comfort. And again, in NaVi, they're going to look to some of those strategical choices and think, was that the right call?
Yeah, they may feel like they were so close with a 12-3 half, unable to meet those measly 3 T rounds of their opponents, with only 2 for themselves. 14-16, a tough loss. Simple up there with 30 kills, most of which were in the first half. I think that it's fair to say the same for all his teams. Seized ended up with 6 kills. Full stop. He had 6 kills the entire time. Body managed to get himself to 12 in the end. Both those two players in particular were struggling on the kill count. But he may feel some responsibility for that, just simply not fragging. But we'll see what the thoughts of the analysts are over on the desk.
Yes, we certainly will. Thank you very much, James and Dan. We'll return, of course, to the commentators for our final game of the day a little bit later. We are going to wrap things up on our panel once more. A terrific comeback from G2. The RNG is strong in this one, that's for sure. Let's find out what our panel members make out from Yanko's point of view. Sponge is already shaking his head. I guess I know where you're both going with this one. Just ludicrous from beginning to end, including the vetoes.
Hashtag the coin was right, Paul. I mean, what else can you say? They knew all along.
Destiny. Wasn't random at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, in my opinion, this was a game of two very, very poor T sides. Not as much as great CT sides. We saw from NaVi early on, the plan was to leave Simple alone towards the bathrooms area, play it passive on A, save the smokes if G2 wants to come that way, and it worked perfectly. Simple was able to isolate players. They were able to use those smokes in the defense. You can see it right here. This smoke makes it super awkward for the T's pushing onto the bomb side. And G2 realized that. They tried to adjust by being more aggressive without using utility, just trying to single out Simple, but they didn't manage to do so.
Yeah, that aggressive play also gave them some really good reads. It meant they could stack bomb sites and stuff. They always had information. So I think it was really good to see Simple unleashed in that regard. He was dropping bombs early, and then he had Edward backing him up on the frag count, mopping up when he needed to, having those rock-like kills in the bomb side. So those two guys, you know, they did a really good job. When you look at a half, you get 12-3, and that's not good enough to win. Paul, I'm going to make every decision in my life right now
Based on the coin?
going forward based on a coin toss.
I think it's as good as anything, right?
Or on a swipe.
Yeah, maybe that one too. But, you know, I thought that the whole veto process would have just completely blown G2 out of the water after that first half, right?
I mean, it looked like they were mentally broken early on, didn't it?
Well, in my mind, they had already lost the veto if you had to do the coin toss, right? But to turn that around, to actually have the mental fortitude to get back in the match based off some good performances, you know, MBK, Kenny, Shocks, one we were touching on, they were all doing their part. Body once again quiet. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I just have lots of picture of highlights of Body in my mind, and I'm overrating him a little bit. But
he stepped up towards the end of the match.
Yeah,
picked up a few kills, but he was quite quiet for the majority of it.
Yeah, I think in that second half, once you see G2 win pistol and win the first gun round, that's where you see, okay, this is a realistic possibility now. But it was up to NaVi to try and adjust, to try something new. Most of the time, it was just very, very slow in trying to take map control, and then the executes were super sloppy. It seemed like, you know, there's just one smoke or a flash or something like that, and you can see just them running into Kenny S with the AWP.
To build on that quickly, you know, the one round that it looked like NaVi should have won is the one where Flamey went like absolutely bonkers with the Deagle out of connector. And then they had the afterplant situation versus Apex, I believe it was, and he won that clutch scenario, which is huge. Like that's an impact round right there. If NaVi got that one, you could probably see them getting across the line. They did have more success with contact plays. That's where their T rounds came from. So I'm surprised we didn't see a bit more diversity and maybe leaning towards that in the later stages. It was still very execute based, and it just wasn't enough.
Celebrations all around for the G2 players at the end there as well. They really did win that one. Enjoy winning that one, I should say. Yanko, from NaVi's point of view, what do you say to them after that?
I think it's going to be very, very difficult for them, because this is an issue they've been having for a very long time. To me, it looks like it's a leadership issue, right? You see C struggling on the scoreboard. I think that's because he's trying to put all his focus into in-game leading, but it's not been working very well. A lot of those rounds, you think that the mid-round calls weren't you know, the best ones. Once they get some map control, they seemed indecisive at times. Do we want to fake? Do we want to try and go for a full-on execute? And they ended up running into stacks at times. You could see how G2 was going for those mid-round information plays that they are known for on overpass, and they were able to be one step ahead in that second half.
Right, we're going to get more from both of you in a moment. I'm hearing that we're joined now from the player area by Kenny S. And hello, Kenny. Congrats on the win.
Thank you very much.
Good win in the end. Tough comeback as well. Just amazing on the second half. I want to take you through something that Nathan said, though, a few days ago before we get into the match itself, because there's a little bit of controversy flying around about the coin flip. Nathan said five days ago, I'm quoting him, "The change for the best of one vetoes for the major is Gucci. Getting rid of RNG and adding a new strategic approach in vetoes. Good shit."
Yeah, I think like the randomizer was pretty bad.
But you used a coin flip, Kenny.
yeah. Well, we used the coin flip because
you basically introduced your own randomizer.
yeah, exactly. But we're actually pretty confident on both maps. Some of us wanted to play Nuke, and some of us wanted to play Overpass.
No. Let's be honest, Kenny. You wanted to play Nuke.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, actually, like NaVi on Nuke is not that good, and last week was just like it was amazing, like unbelievable. Oh, we lost the game in Cologne on both maps actually. So whatever, we are confident on both maps, and yeah, that's funny that we made.
Was that what it was? You were both confident. I mean, because we were sort of going, well, is it because you played them on both those maps and lost in Cologne, and now you're like, oh wow, which one's better or which one? Were you genuinely like, we don't really mind which map we play?
Yeah, we don't really mind. Like
No.
as I said, like actually last week NaVi didn't actually win the game. We lost the game.
Okay.
So we knew that it didn't really mean anything.
Okay. All right.
So
well,
yeah, we are confident on both maps.
Okay, cool. In terms of your own performance, how are you right now? How do you feel your game is? Because you really bowed your team out in that second half with a number of crucial kills.
I would say that I'm feeling good. Not in my best shape, obviously, but yeah, I think I can just deliver some good things during the game and in the future. So I'm pretty confident about myself and what I can do, despite the fact that I'm not at 100%. Our team, it seems to be in a really right mindset right now. The comeback we just made right now has been really amazing, and we never gave up, so I'm really proud of the team.
Yeah, no, it's a great performance by you and by the team as well. I've got Yanko and Sponge alongside me. Gents, do you want to fire a question at Kenny?
I want to know, is that where you expected the veto to go, down to Nuke and Overpass?
No, absolutely not. Actually, we were expecting to play Inferno or Cobble.
So we were, right? That's what we said on the desk. We were like, it's going to be Inferno or Cobble, and then we ended up with that, and we were really surprised. Okay, so with the T half then, when you guys were really struggling, where do you pinpoint that? What was going wrong? Because for us, it looked like it was simple, just being a menace in the toilet area for you guys.
Yeah, I think they just made a lot of individual moves, like Simple. He was playing like his away up pretty alone and doing a lot of damage. We are pretty naive about everything, I would say, and we're a bit scared as well. But at the end of the side, we try to play a bit faster and just try to kill him because he's alone and we are 5 or 3 in the area. So yeah, I think the main problem was Simple doing everything he wanted, and even though we expected him to be in that kind of position, we didn't expect him to be that good today.
Sweet.
Yeah, I was wondering, you mentioned that you were confident on both Overpass and Nuke, but when you look objectively at NaVi as a team, it's fairly obvious that Overpass is a much better map for them than Nuke, and in my book, it shouldn't have been a discussion at any point. You should have just gone for Nuke straight away. Are you really that self-focused as a team that you don't really care as much whether you're going to play your opponent's best map or one of their best maps as long as it's good enough for you?
No, you're right. That's why we made the conflict, because actually on Overpass we have been practicing a lot lately, and we try to fix our mistakes from coloring. So we are confident about it. But in another hand, I was the one who wanted to play Nuke because,
Good man.
as I said, NaVi on Nuke is not like, it's definitely not their best map. So I would have rather playing them on Nuke, but whatever. We won.
Yeah, win's
You
a win.
did. Yeah, a win's a win. Thank you very much for joining us, Kenny, and congrats on a first win today. We'll see you tomorrow for day 2.
Thanks.
That's Kenny S there joining us from G2. They are the winners in their matchup versus NaVi. We expected a bit of a humdinger. It's exactly what we got as well. We'll check out the scoreboard and show you the results. It's a sad scoreboard in many ways for NaVi fans, because they'll look at this and go, how the hell did we lose that when Simple drops a 30, Edward drops 25? How the hell have we lost this?
Most of those frags were obviously in the first half, right, which was a 12-3 cruise control. Didn't look like they were going to have any issues at all. Massive performance, right? Like Kenny said, they didn't expect him to be that good.
Yeah.
You know, but it's simple.
It's simple. You've got to expect him to be that good.
He can turn up any day, you know. So for him to be able to put up a performance like that and not to win, it's obviously disappointing, and for a very emotional player like him, disheartening. But I think, you know, he's had that mental switch where now he realizes it's a team game. So no matter how much he did, he's going to understand that as a team they lost. So
yeah, we've got to do a little bit better.
Good to see him in form. That's good for NaVi going forward. G2 is a very tough matchup for them first, right?
I mean, that's the story of both sides, really, in many ways. I know Guardian wasn't particularly hot in this game, Yanko, but at least Simple's shown up for NaVi and Kenny's shown up for G2. That's good for both teams, isn't it? That their star power is sitting at the top of the frag board.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you want to see. And I mean, NaVi now can't meet G2 further on in the tournament, right? They might get some easier draws in the future. And it's also a good sign. I think something that is overlooked at times is how Edward is playing at the major specifically. He is one of the better and more consistent players for NaVi ever since, I believe, in Cluj maybe, but Columbus 2016 for sure.
Yeah. It's been a good day for G2, that's for sure. As you can see, the MVP on your screen, Mr. Kenny Shrub, 22 years of age, picks up his first MVP of this major. Probably, you'd imagine, not his last either.
Yeah, one of the weaker MVPs though that we've had.
Yeah,
you know, it's not as clear cut for G2.
Second
it feels
half.
like, but that's actually might be a good thing, right? Because you saw Shocks in the first half. He was top fragging. We were talking about him in the pregame, how he has been a little bit quiet for his standards. Apex, that monster 1v3, really kept them in the game, kept that comeback rolling. It was pretty much everyone contributing, besides Body perhaps until the very end. So that's what you want from any team in this tournament. If you're going to go all the way, it has to be a team effort.
Yep, absolutely. MBK sitting at the top of the frag board for his team in that particular one. 3 of them over 20 as well. Good performance and a good comeback from G2 as they go 1-0 in the Swiss group stage. Very important. They're only 2 games away from a place in the quarterfinals. Remember, they were one of the qualifiers this time around. Right, time to move on now. We're going to head towards a break. When we come back, however, our final match of the night will be with us, and it's the champions, Astralis, in action next.